thanks to multiple technical faults, including the camera's total failure to record the show at one point, we're a couple of days late. But we're here now, so let's get right to it. Today we're going to look at three-point perspective. Three-point perspective is used a lot in comics to give buildings the correct sense of scale, whether the reader is looking up at skyscrapers from the ground or looking down at the ground from skyscrapers. It ensures buildings are correctly proportioned and, when used correctly, makes artwork appear far more realistic than it otherwise would. To demonstrate three-point perspective, we're going to use it to draw a simple cube, as we've done with previous tutorials on perspective. To start with, choose 3 points on your page and mark them with a dot. These are your vanishing points. To draw a cube, we'll need 7 vertices, which are the points where lines from your vanishing points will cross. We determine these by drawing 3 lines radiating out from each vanishing point. When you have your 3 lines from each vanishing point, mark each of the vertices with a point. Now connect the dots with lines as if you're drawing a join the dots puzzle. Now you have a cube drawn in three-point perspective. As always, you can ink in the lines of the cube to make them stand out more, then erase the pencil lines once the ink is dry. This concludes our tutorial on the basic methods of drawing perspective. There are other perspective techniques such as 4- and 5-point perspective, which you may wish to try out if you're looking to produce more complex pieces, but tutorials on those will have to wait until later. In comics news this week, I have to say it feels like a real slow news period. The London Super Comic Convention is coming up at the end of next month, which has caused a flurry of chatter in British webcomic creators' circles, as everyone who's going gets their stock prepared. Similarly, the Midlands MCM Expo on the 16th of February is causing a little panic for those creators who have left it until the last minute to get their comics printed. But moving on to more international news, sci-fi author Jim Hines is weighing in on the ongoing debate about the over-sexualization of women in comics. He's taken to recreating the absurd poses women are put into on the covers of so many comics, and the fact that he's a balding man taking photos of the poses often serves to better emphasise their absurdity when compared to something like the Hawkeye Initiative. For those who don't know about the Hawkeye Initiative, it's a project to replace women on comic covers with Hawkeye, the idea being that if he looks silly in that pose, so do the women, regardless of the purported sexual gratification of the original image. Unfortunately, the crowdsourced art used for the Hawkeye Initiative tends to take something away from the power of the idea because some of the artwork is downright awful. Moving over to comic reviews, the forthcoming issue of 2000 AD, Prog 1816, brings us a new single-part story for Judge Dredd. It's a nicely written script by Michael Carroll with excellent art from John Burns, and it shows off Dredd's compassionate side in a much better way than the Christmas episode did. The only real issue with the story is the framing device that they've chosen. The perp narrating the story is talking to someone, but we never get to see why, which just seems weird. Maybe it'll get explained in later episodes, but I can't really see how right now. Last week's Savage ended on a cliffhanger that was clearly going to be wiggled out of in some way, so this week's episode comes as a nice surprise. The cliffhanger resolves well, in contrast to just about every cliffhanger in story these days. Furthermore, the tight rating continues to impress, and there's a really nice touch when writer Pat Mills takes the time to remind us that although the Volks are the bad guys here, they're still human. It's very impressive. Anthony Crucius Investigates continues a pleasant run, but this week's episode gets a little confusing with his car chase. The cars are significantly different when looking at them up close, but when the action starts it's difficult to see who's in which car. As a result, the episodes are a little jarring and serve to pull the reader out of the comic, which is unfortunate. The Red Seas yawns its way along to another episode, and I'm sorry to say that by this point I just want it to be over with. It's the first time the art has really failed too. The monsters are supposed to be made up of human souls, which the cover image shows up well. In the comic, they look like shaped privet hedges. It's unfortunate. Finally, Strontium Dog continues an impressive run that makes a social commentary on how mobs can't run a war with impressive fast-paced action scripting. There's a war coming and Johnny Alpha's allies are quickly making it seem like he's going to lose. I can't wait to see what happens next. 2000 AD Prog 1816 is out on Wednesday 22nd of January in print and digital forms in the UK, and United States readers will get it next month. It's also available via the new 2000 AD iOS app, so that's worth having a look at as well because you can download it there if you prefer it on your iPad. Now let's move over to the webcomic arena. This week we're taking a look at The Noob by Gianna Massetti, a comic that charts the misadventures of ultimate MMORPG newbie Ulf Sig, or OFOF for short, as he desperately tries to become a reasonable member of the game's community. This is a really fun comic that rips into just about every gaming cliche going. If there's a type of game you've met or a theme that keeps recurring, you'll find it lambasted here. Having said that, it's clear right from the start that Massetti is a big fan of MMORPGs. Everything is treated with a level of love and respect that makes even the most wacky and antisocial of events that the characters get up to seem endearing. Add to this some fun, cartoony artwork that often reveals a significant level of detail, and you're onto a winner. This may be a gaming comic, but I'm pretty sure there's something here for non-gamers to love as well. Okay, that's all we've got time for this week, so thank you very much for watching another episode of Comic Fridays. If you like this, do remember to click the like button, share it with your comic-loving friends so that they can see what's been going on as well, and subscribe for future videos. But until next time, I've been Zoe Kirk-Robinson, you've been watching Comic Fridays on the ZJKR channel, and I'll see you next week.